Thanks for joining me at 6:30. I'm Rick Marinon. Tonight we are speaking with both Governor Kevin Stitt and the Cherokee Nation's Principal Chief Chuck Hoskin Jr. At the end of the year, the agreement between the state of Oklahoma and the Cherokee Nation on license plates will expire. Both sides say prospects look dim for a new tribal tag compact. You are going to hear from both men unedited in their own words to explain what is happening, because your now valid license plate could cause you to end up with a ticket next year if you drive the car off of Cherokee land. It's only on Fox 23. Joining me today to talk about the tribal compact with the Cherokee Nation on their car tags is Governor Kevin Stitt himself, unedited in his own words. Thanks for stopping by, Governor. I appreciate it.
Absolutely, my pleasure.
Judging by what your staff has told me, there is no resolution so far on this issue. Is that right?
Yeah, unfortunately, that's correct. I mean, we've signed a compact with the Chickasaws and the Choctaws on their tags. But the Cherokees, unfortunately, so far have been unwilling to sign a similar agreement and are kind of dug in. And I will not make a bad deal for the state of Oklahoma. And so we'll have to just talk about that.
We have people in this building who have Cherokee tags. They do not live on the Cherokee Reservation. They come to work at this station that's on the creek, tribal lands. What does that mean for people like that? Because we've got people all over Tulsa who don't live on Cherokee land but have Cherokee tags.
Yeah, that's why it's so unfortunate. We're trying to resolve it. And just so Oklahomans understand the issue, you know, our law enforcement needs to know who's driving those vehicles. It's a safety issue. We need that in our database. On our turnpike system, we have to be able to know who's on there. And right now, the Cherokee tags, cumulative, owe the state of Oklahoma $8 million. It goes up about just in the last year. And if you extrapolate that over the last 10 years, it's quite a bit of money. So in other words, they're driving up and down the turnpikes and they don't have pike passes. And so that's wrong. That's not fair for other Oklahomans that have to pay. And I'm a fair guy, and I'm not going to have a system where one race pays and another race doesn't have to pay.
Does that mean people are going to get tickets just going to work if this fails?
Well, if it fails, they're driving illegally. If you don't live, I mean, I don't want to get too technical, but if you're truly a member of that tribe on that specific quote unquote reservation, and then you technically, the tribe can print a tag, and we're not arguing that. But when you live outside the reservation, you can't have a Cherokee tag without a compact with the state of Oklahoma. Furthermore, everybody has to have a pike pass. And right now, they're circumventing the law, and that's just wrong. And as governor, I'm not doing my job if I don't hold those people accountable. So unfortunately, the Cherokees are dug in, and they don't want to pay that. They don't want to ask their citizens to pay it. And I just don't think that's fair for every other Oklahoman that has to pay the tag title and tax whenever they buy a new vehicle.
Well, I was going to ask, and we'll get into the specifics, but I think there are people who are legitimately afraid they're going to get a ticket driving to work. Is that what you're saying?
Listen, it's possible. I don't know exactly what the law enforcement's going to do, but absolutely, if they don't have a legitimate reason, we can't have different special interest groups printing tags. Example, there's a guy from Oregon, and he belongs to an Oregon tribe. Okay, so he's got an Oregon license plate from an Indian tribe in Oregon, and he lives in Tulsa, so he's an Oklahoma native. He owes the turnpike $400. He just got stopped and got a speeding ticket because he went through. He owes the turnpike system $400, and he doesn't think he needs an Oklahoma tag. He doesn't belong to the Cherokees, but he's keeping his Indian tag. So this is just getting way out of control. Our system, our law enforcement needs to know who's driving on the roads and who's living in the state of Oklahoma. It's that simple. I don't know how anybody could disagree that if a Hispanic or an Asian or a Caucasian or the Choctaws or the Chickasaws, for example, if they're going to tag their cars, that's in our database. And we're gonna know what they're paying to the school system, to the roads, the bridges, the infrastructure, et cetera, et cetera.
We've heard the sticking points are they're not showing up in the database and the tolls. Are those the only sticking points?
Plus, the Cherokees want to go outside of their historic land, and they want to come to South Tulsa, which is actually the creek area, because it actually expands their ability to give more tags or issue more tags. So that's the other sticking point, is they want to go outside of their historical land, if you would call it.
Does one size fits all on this issue? Does one size fits all work?
Well, for example, it worked for the Chickasaws and it worked for the Choctaws. So basically, if you're a Chickasaw and you're living anywhere in the state, we've negotiated that you can have a Chickasaw plate or you can have a Choctaw plate. The state gets 70% of that revenue, and the Choctaws or the Chickasaws get about 30%, okay? But the person pays the same amount regardless of their race, right? And so that's where I'm at. I'm a fairness person, and I can't have a system where an African American is going to pay more than someone who looks like me, because I'm a Cherokee. Remember that, right? So what is the blood quantum that you need to be an Indian nowadays? It's very, very small. There is no blood quantum, actually. And so I just think it's fundamentally unfair to give someone else $300 tag, title, and tax, and somebody else has to pay $3,000. And so we need to all be paying the same thing. We're all Oklahomans. We all benefit from the roads. We all benefit from the schools. And and we're all the state of Oklahoma. And so they're trying to divide us, and I'm trying to bring us together.
I hate asking questions off the comment section on social media. I've seen truck stop bathrooms cleaner than the comment section on social media, but I know exactly what's going to be said. This is Stitt beating up on the tribes again. This is sore grapes from Joy Hoffmeister, and he couldn't get the gaming compact changed. This is all sore grapes. What do you say to those things?
Listen, I won governor. I've got 2 years left. I'm going to go back to the private sector. Oklahomans overwhelmingly elected me both times because they know I'm not a politician. I'm just putting a fresh set of eyes on this. If I was a politician, I would just quietly give the Cherokees whatever they wanted, right? But I'm not going to do that. I will not be the governor that says, you know what, Kevin Stitt can go back to working in the private sector, or a doctor or a lawyer or somebody that lives in Tulsa can buy a Range Rover and pay $400 for their tag and then not have to put a pike pass on it. But a single mom of another race has to pay $4,000 or $3,000 or whatever it comes up to for her new car, and then has to pay on the pike pass. I don't know how anybody can argue with me that I'm being unfair, because I'm really trying to be fair. They're the ones that are saying, no, we don't want to live in the state of Oklahoma. We don't want to abide by your rules. But the problem is, we build the roads. We build the schools. The problem is, this is not a reservation. This is the state of Oklahoma, where we fund the hospitals and the schools, and we're all in this together as Oklahomans. So we're proud of our heritage, and that's what people don't understand. I'm super proud that I'm Cherokee, my great-granddad, and I'm a fourth generation from Oklahoma, and we have got allotted land at statehood, and all those things are so important to Oklahomans. But it doesn't mean that I think that I should have to pay less than another race. That's crazy. Okay, so that's where I'm at, and but they're going to spin it. They're going to try to confuse Oklahomans. Oh, Stitt just doesn't like the Cherokees. No, Stitt wants everybody to pay the same amount, or everybody to be on the same set of rules. And you know me, I'm trying to get taxes lower for everybody. But if we don't have one race not paying on the turnpikes, let's make the turnpikes free. Let's get them paid off so nobody pays. But I'm not going to be here as a governor and say that somebody should pay and somebody shouldn't.
Are you having this same issue with the other tribes?
Not really, not like the Cherokees. So the Choctaws and the Chickasaws have already signed a compact with me. So if it was good enough for them, why is it not good enough for the Cherokees? So we've got one. They've moved on from this issue. I've moved on from the Choctaws. But at the end of this year, we're going to have a problem because they're going to be out of compliance with an agreement that we made 10 years ago or however long with tribal tags for the Cherokee specifically.
When we come back, we're giving the same 8 minutes to Cherokee Nation Chief Chuck Hoskin Jr. to respond to what the governor just said about the Cherokee license plates and possible tickets next year. Stay with us.